my buddy Dash for this episode of Double Take. Dave, I just said joined by Dash, but we're joined by Dash
Talking
and
in
Dave.
the third person. That's so
person.
weird.
The way you feel.
Good evening, Dash. How you doing?
It's Saturday.
It is Saturday.
Yeah.
Ooh, baby, how is everyone in the chat? Ellie came in 2.5 hours ago, commenting on the thumbnail. She likes it. I hope you guys like it. I tried to have some fun. Michael here in early as well. It is the Napoli pregame and so much more. There's a lot of nonsense to talk about tonight as well. All kinds of news. We're going to be taking out the trash, if you will.
I love that thumbnail so much.
Yeah, I just came to me in a dream. Comicus coming in as well. How's it going? How's it going, everyone?
You dream about De Laurentiis and garbage cans, Dave?
Okay, come on. I was being dramatic.
And then Yusuf with the W comment, we just came in. He's like, "Hey guys, already looking forward to another Savage Dash." Yeah. For context, I graphically demonstrated how Man United took the biggest L of the season in the Europa League. It's fingers and ears and other holes as well. So go ahead and check out the replay on that one.
I don't even remember what you said, but it must have been good.
It was pretty funny if Yusuf commented on the video, because I got the notification. Yusuf commented on your video and he's like, "That was brutal, awesome, and savage, and I loved it all." And I was like, "Yes, sir."
Yeah. I guess since we're on, we haven't brought this up yet. It's been a few days. We put out a Ronaldo shirt. I put Dybala scores as Ronaldo flops because he got tackled. He flopped. The ball went back. I can't remember to who. And then he long balled it far over. Deep to Dybala, who picked it up and scored. It was a pretty self-explanatory title, I thought, right? But one guy comes in.
He came in with the Webster's. He came in with the Webster's dictionary.
Okay, so first, one guy's like, "How was that a flop?" Just Ronaldo fanboy, I'm assuming. And I'm like, "Well, he got tackled and he flopped onto the pitch. I think it's pretty straightforward, no?" And then another guy came in and just walled of text the whole damn chat with every single version of what flop means, the whole dictionary, bam, right there on the table. And it was just I just had to Google it, bro. And just left it at that. Oh man, it was funny. And then a day later, another person came in and was like, "How was that a flop?" I was like, check the previous comment. just check last. You'll find out.
Look at this dude.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Look at this dude.
Yeah.
That's as KB says it.
Anyways, what we're going to do tonight, we're going to try to do this as a recurring theme. Hopefully it picks up more as it becomes a thing, as people know what it is. So we don't get to do quite as many lives as we used to, with the Twitch and just with the busy schedules and just trying to get varying types of content out throughout the week, right? So it's not always the same old rinse and repeat. We're going to try something. So from now on, we're going to at least once a week do a live setup like this, me and Dash. No, there might be guests. Doesn't just have to be the two of us. And yeah, we'll get into the pregame. If there's a pregame to do, there's always a pregame. 2 games.
There's always a pregame.
There's always a pregame or a postgame. There's always something. So we'll do that, get that out of the way for the first, I don't know, however long it takes, 20, 30 minutes. And then from there, we'll get into the bullshit. And then it'll just be like old school sports radio. Lines are open. Anybody can join. Just jump in, shoot the shit. Let's hear y'all. So that being said, I'm gonna get the link. I'm gonna throw that right into the chat. And when it's ready, we'll say when it's ready. Because we have to go on our monologue. Well, Dash had his monologue last week by himself, but we'll do our thing. And then when we're ready, if you guys want to jump in, we'll do that.
Yeah, try not to jump in now because we'll probably keep you in the waiting room for a hot minute or so. Because it's
Yeah.
just one of those things. We'll go over all the topics and then we'll let you guys call in and say, "Hey Dash, I just want to say the topic that you talked about, Allegri's turtleneck, you're kind of a dumbass for talking about turtlenecks." And I'll be like, "Fair, all right, cool, whatever. All right, good stuff,
Yeah.
man." I'll just go get up politely and just go cry in the corner because everybody be hating on that turtleneck game. But yeah, so like we'll go over some topics. We did post a tweet on our Twitter, Juventus podcast at Twitter. It was about Zinedine Zidane. So what we have done, because we got a shit ton of responses, Dave and I have elected to make a double take video that'll be releasing midweek, covering that. If you want to talk about Zidane, we can talk about Zidane, but we're not going to go too much in depth to the tweets because, again, we want to save it. And
Yeah, I think this is building up a lot of steam, so it's worth its own video.
yeah, definitely. And there's a lot of interesting takes on there. So, well, again, if you guys want to talk about it briefly and state your thing, just call in and talk about it. We're not really gonna focus too much into the Zinedine Zidane talk because there's other talk as well. And I believe I called this because I was said this with the call-in group on Monday. But Dave, how do you want to dissect this bad boy?
Dissect. We're talking about the game now, right? We're not diving
The pregame, whatever
the
you want to do.
pregame. Yeah, we're diving into the
Pregame
pregame
news.
first. I know we're talking about Zidane. I'm like, okay, no, let's hold our horses. We're not talking about
Oh,
matches.
hey, easy there, Charlie. Easy.
Yeah. But later we'll just get this get Napoli out of the way, see what we have to say. First and foremost, Lazio lost today. That's just moment of silence. Okay, so they lost today. Second is ours if we win. We have to do this. This is ours. Man, I'm so pumped up now that I saw that Lazio lost today. Booyah. Everything's good.
Interesting. They lost to Torino, which I thought was interesting.
Yes.
So it's like, to be honest with you, like people are gonna hate me for this, but like Call of Duty fans, my Call of Duty friends in the chat, Lazio to me is like the team that camps in Warzone. Like you're doing well, you're okay, and then all of a sudden they just snipe you out of nowhere with a Car 98 and no scope you and then teabag on you.
Oh, you're old school COD.
Oh yeah, old school COD. So like the thing is like I find two teams in Serie A that do that: Torino and Lazio. Those two teams are the definition of campers. You can't say Allegri is a camper because we just got no finishing touch because Dusan just isn't finishing right now. Like if we had that, but because like for example, Lazio have that with Immobile and Zucchini. I'm just gonna call him Zucchini. That's my savage moment of the day. Zaccagni, but Zucchini.
Okay, Zucchini.
Yeah, and then Torino's got that pretty much with their shoot. I forgot their 9, but essentially it's kind of how I expect it to be. So like those two are your two campers. So today, Lazio versus Torino. So we had it on at the restaurant this morning, and my dad and I were just like catching it as we're working, we're looking at it, and we're like looking at each other like, is anybody gonna score here? Like is there anything like
Sanabria?
What? Sanabria, okay.
Yes.
So I'm like sitting there, I'm like, is anybody gonna do anything here? It's literally like you have two players across the map with Car 98s waiting for the other one to peek over so they could just do it. Like at that point I would have told Sari and Juric, just get a bag of Doritos and some Mountain Dew. You're gonna be there a while.
Oh man, I use that reference usually for Warcraft players. The Doritos Mountain Dew combo, classic.
Really? Is that what Warcraft? I thought that was a Call of Duty thing.
No, Warcraft was sponsored by Mountain Dew for a while. I'm pretty sure.
I know. So was Halo when Halo was good, but
probably like a Code Red or something though. Not like OG Mountain Dew.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's all American advertising, anyways. I don't see that shit.
Hey, I'm happy though because we got a chance to go second place and take that second place, and then just make Napoli fans anxious just because they'll fear thinking that they'll choke against everyone. Like,
could they? They couldn't at this point.
Part of me, hypothetically, if we were to finish in second place, can we like put an asterisk on Napoli's Scudetto saying because they had assistance from FIGC? Because like, let's be real here, folks.
We're not doing any asterisks.
I just let's have some pettiness here a little bit. Just entertain me, intertwine me.
It just sounds so Inter-esque and Napoli-esque.
I know, but I just I want to out petty the petty sometimes.
Napoli wants to take away Scudetto that we didn't even have.
I know. That's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying. As Juventini, we should go on the internet and just do a petition, and then when Napoli wins the title, you just put an asterisk one because of point deduction to Juventus, just to be petty. Because then they'll just sleep about it.
Oh,
But
did
hey,
Arsenal slip today? Are they? Hold on,
they tied.
standings.
They tied against
Okay, so they're still
Southampton.
no, they're still in first though.
Yeah, but they're
But
Man
Dortmund's
City
in
is.
first now.
But here's the issue with Arsenal is they've played 2 more games than Man City.
Oh, I see that. Yes.
So they're 5 points ahead,
So
but 2
technic,
games ahead.
yeah. Tight
Technically,
now. Tight now.
cue the Holland music. I don't
Mhm.
have the soundbite for that. Damn it. He's not a
Work on
Juve
that.
player, so I can't get that. No, I can't. It's way too weird. It's
Okay.
way too weird.
I thought it was weird, but you brought it up, so
I know.
I was just gonna roll with
I
it. I was just gonna sit there in the
know.
corner and watch.
This is like my segment where I just absolutely act like I'm bonkers and batshit crazy, or I just make some crazy takes. Gombachiro says they destroyed us 5-1, so we deserve to salute Kev. But what if we win tomorrow? What if we win like 3 or 4-0 tomorrow? Can we meme them? And then Ellie, I'm dreaming too much. We'll struggle to the end of the season. I mean, come on.
We'll see. We'll see. 8 games left, plus everything else.
Yeah, plus everything else. Hey, what if we win Coppa Italia and Europa League? Then we can just troll them and say, hey, we won more trophies than you guys, even though we suck this year.
Yeah, I'll be okay.
We gotta troll, guys. Like the thing is like you gotta, we can have our moral high grounds and we won't do the shenanigans, but like we gotta have just a sprinkle of the trolling, like a sprinkle. Like you get like your vanilla chocolate twist ice cream, and then you just throw a little dabble of crushed Oreos. That's kind of what it is. Like for example, Napoli's got the ice cream with the Scudetto on it, and then we sprinkle in the Europa League and the Coppa Italia. And I'm saying hypothetically, if we win, I'm not saying we're guaranteeing these W's. I mean, I'm talking a lot of shit before we got some substance. I'm not gonna lie here.
Dash is the man that goes to the China buffet just for the Sunday bar.
You don't? Am I the only one that does that?
No, I go for the chicken balls.
I go for the
sweet sour pork.
I go for the food. I go for the food poisoning laced sushi.
Oh, not the sushi. No, I go just like straight meat sweats.
Oh man, those like Golden Corral, like those cheap buffets are like my jam when I was in college because I was broke and couldn't afford anything.
Definitely did that in college.
Yeah, that's a main set of a college student right there. I wonder if they do that in Europe. Do they have all you can eat buffets in Europe? Any of our European folks comment there on the chat.
I think they're more civilized than that. I'm not sure. Maybe in England. England definitely does that.
Oh, I would have.
But like Germany, France, no, I don't think so.
Well, David lives in Germany, so he could tell us. Like, David, is there an all you can eat? Like, do they have that all you can eat buffets in Germany? Because I'm really curious about that.
I'm interested to hear now.
I need to know. It's more pressing question than Juve Napoli. I'm just kidding. Could you imagine if someone heard me say that and they're like, "Oh my god, these guys are talking about food, not Juve. What the fuck is wrong with this channel?"
Yeah. Whatever.
David says Dave says in a bad season, Juve can get a double. Not too bad. Hey, that's the Pirlo season.
Yeah.
Michael coming in. Let's win something first, and we can have fun afterward. I'm really anxious about this end of the season as we seem to be playing worse and worse. It's interesting that you say that because everybody else is starting to get collectively worse and worse too.
They are. Yeah. Napoli have only won 1 game in their last 5 against that day.
So in Europe, like in general, a lot of teams have just kind of again, it's fatigue. Part of it is fatigue because everyone's been playing. And again, this month of April has absolutely been bonkers for your top teams as well. So I totally get it. And then David says, yes, we have those definitely, but mostly with Asian food. Could you imagine there being like something in Bavaria where it's like all you can eat bratwurst?
Yes, just sausage. Just a line of sausage. Just line it all up and just go down that aisle and take that sausage.
Yeah, that was nuts. Gompachiro asking, do you guys prefer Southern Italy or Northern Italy? If Juve can't win it, I'm happy if a Southerner wins the title. For me, it's anyone that doesn't have a star that's close to getting 2 stars wins it. I'm okay with.
That's fair. And that's the thing. Like my family is Southern Italian. I identify more as Southern Italian, I guess. My features and whatnot, but like we're talking about a Torino team here that we're rooting for. So does any of that even matter at this point? No, I don't care.
See,
I don't care who wins.
the thing is for me is like De Laurentiis has been a thorn in our ass for the last 10 years about his whining and complaining. So that's why I'm a little bit repulsed with Napoli winning the title. Is it better than Inter or AC Milan winning it? Yes, because I want to get 4 stars before they get 2. Again, pettiness in my end here.
Yeah.
So like again, that's one of those things. But like, if it has to be them, I guess it's okay. I just can't stand their fans, man. Like
No, they're horrible
it's
people.
just yeah, their fans are just such a drag. And then Matt says that Lecce game of theirs was way too shaky, saved by an awful own goal. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing too, I think a lot of Serie A teams are going to study, or they're going to study how Milan handled Napoli, because Milan served them 3 games in a row. Like that penalty goal, or yeah, it was a penalty. No, did they score a penalty at the end? I think not. But the goal that Napoli got at the end, I think that was more so of a consolation, if anything. Yeah, it was an Osimhen header. It was an Osimhen header off a corner. So it's like, I think, and I don't want to be like, premeditative on this, but I think Milan exposed Napoli really, really badly. Because, like, for example, Milan's squad isn't the greatest squad in the world. Like, Rafael Leao is incredible, so is Teo Hernandez. But like, if you looked at that Giroud goal that they scored in the Maradona, man, like Leao made their defense look like a bunch of bowling pins. Like, it was insane how he just walked right through them. But I don't know. I think Napoli's starting to settle in with fatigue, and then again, Milan beating them essentially 3 times in a row. That's got to shoot their confidence, man.
They never really had the depth,
No.
and now you can kind of see it. Yeah, they're too far ahead at this point in the league. I mean, come on, but
Yeah.
out of Champions League obviously now, so and the Copa, so they have nothing else to play for than to just secure this freaking title.
Yeah. So, personally, I think next season, I don't think they're going to perform well at all next season, especially if Osimhen and Kvaratskhelia leave. So it's like, I don't know, because it looks like towards the end, like Lecce had a really good game against them. Milan did very, very well against them. Hellas Verona gave them a good game as well. I think Hellas Verona should have won, but they held them to a 0-0 in the Maradona. So like you can tell, you can definitely tell that they're not as sharp as you would expect them to be, for sure. And then unfortunately for our good friend Pipo, who is
Yeah,
not
I've
in
been
all caps
wondering.
today.
I was thinking
Uh,
today, like I haven't seen it in a while, and here it is.
Fortunately, his pets have passed away. So our
Yeah, I'm so
condolences to our
sorry,
good
man.
friend Pipo. So, guys,
Yeah,
send some virtual hugs. Said some hugs to Pipo, everybody.
yeah, man.
Uh,
That's man, that's hard. Two at once. That's insane. Never had to do 2 at once. Could only imagine.
yeah, and then David saying half of their team will be gone. The Premier League will raid them. So will their sporting director, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. And Pipo is telling you guys, I hope all Juventinos in the chat will be happy for those 15 points. Sporting game, great. It was a great week last week, even though we're kind of anxious towards the end of that sporting game with our sporting friends. But good week, good week.
Yeah, that was a good week.
So how do you want to go about this, Dave? You want to go into the presser? Do you want to go into some news going into Napoli, or it's funny because we're matching. That's funny, guys. Look,
Oh,
we
we
have the
did
same
match.
sweater.
It was bound
We
to
did.
happen. Okay,
We're
well.
matching. Let's go. I just realized that.
Yeah. Okay, we kind of blew through some of the points anyways. Just one little last note before the presser. Juve have the most points at home, 36. Now, this is kind of embarrassing in a sense. They have the most points away at 40. So they have more away than we do at home, even though we're the best at home. I mean, whatever. We're at home. The stats are the stats for what it's worth. Let's hope that they're still crap. Let's hope they're still crap, essentially. And
Let's hope the confidence is shot.
Yeah, and we're rolling. We're rolling right now. So that's what we're going with. We're gonna move that 36 points to 39, hopefully. And people coming in again. Yes, David saying my condolences. People giving thanks to everyone. So yeah, and looks like he's happy to be amongst the Juventini. So welcome, of course, everyone. This is part of it, part of the community, right? So, when things like this happen, hopefully we just stick together and we're stronger when we're together. And man, that's actually in the news, the Juve news today too, that we bring it up. The fact with all this crap that's happening, the clown show, the circus, I guess, of what the FIGC is and how they keep on just screwing us over. And now other teams, other people, Sardi even today, it was calling everyone a clown essentially. That nobody knows what the
that's
it's
interesting.
great.
I know, right?
So we have to again as fans, the whole unity thing, unity, just come together, put aside our differences, because man, those other assholes, screw those guys. Let's stick together, and that's it. We'll just stick together. That being said,
and and kind of going into like what Sari said as well, because Sari was just kind of like, how does this even work? He's like, you have one deduction, and then you have a reinstatement, and then you have another deduction that potentially comes on. Because the thing is, it's like there's 4 teams that are greatly affected by this, like really, really greatly affected by this. Again, Lazio, Roma, Inter, AC. So with us being back in top 4, AC and Inter are essentially out of the cool kid club, and you have Lazio, and then you have Roma. Lazio lost, and the next 2 games for Lazio are Inter and Milan. Those are the 2 teams that they're playing.
That's a rough go.
So that sucks for them, like really, really bad. So again, that's them, and then also Roma too, that they're also challenging as well. I believe they still have to play Milan and Inter. I'm not too sure. I think they do, but like the fact that they still have to do that, and now they were planning and going one way about it, and now they have to go a different way about it. And then if Kine somehow still has a job within 30 days and tries to do another point deduction, then it's gonna flop. That's why I was saying this. The Serie A season's an asterisk, almost in a sense, because they've fumbled with the top 4 so much.
It's Gravina that needs to lose the job, though. Like Kine,
both.
I mean,
both.
Yes, but the fact that Gravina allows all that's what's really ridiculous. And if he was to lose his job, which I mean, at this point, I hope he does. And what was it, vice president of UEFA?
He's the official boot shiner for Sheffrin. So
yeah, so a guy that's potentially going to get fired, or people are calling for his firing or resignation in Italy, he just got the second highest job in UEFA. Like what's going on?
Yeah,
it's crooked. It's crooked as fuck.
It's ridiculous. Like honestly, I'm like baffled. It's just one of those things where it's like, how do you do a point deduction in midseason, and then you do a point restoration midseason, and then you do allegedly you do another point deduction potential.
But he's only going to ask for 9 this time. They want to go back to the original. I mean, we're talking about it way before.
The appeals coach should just be like, hey man, can you actually like submit evidence this time? I'm like, last time,
yeah,
like they literally had no evidence. That's why Coney was pissed off. They're like, what are you? Oh, this and that. Where's your evidence? Like no evidence.
No evidence.
No. Unbelievable.
Okay, we were supposed to save that. Let's bang out this freaking presser and the strategy, tactics, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my, rabbit hole's hard already. Okay, so the presser. These are the quotes, the abridged version, of course, from Allegri earlier today. So champions-elect, Napoli are on their way to winning the Scudetto. Yeah, no surprise. They have had an extraordinary championship and are deservedly on top. It will be a difficult match against a strong team. Their match against Milan was highly technical. Napoli played the same way they've been playing all season, and they're in excellent condition. What's more, we're up against a team out to make amends. So he's just giving them kudos, which they do deserve. They deserve the points they have. Let's be honest.
They do. They do.
So
they balled out.
Yeah, they have been. And that's it. He's just good job, Napoli. They're gonna come at us. We'll watch out. Okay, on the 15 points here. Oh, and Ellie's giving the hearts out for Peepo as well. Thank you, Ellie. All right, so with the first sentence, we had to reset everything, make a mental effort, readapt to what the standings were, and try to get back on track. Over that period, we also had the Europa League and Coppa Italia to deal with. We coped well. Now we have to do better. We have the chance of reaching the final in both Coppa and Europa, and we're also out to catch Lazio in second place. So, man, we know Napoli is untouchable. You know, that I know you can argue. We can still keep that hope. But for all intents and purposes, they're untouchable. But man, we are fighting for second place and Copa and Europa. Man, we're still balling out. If you think about it.
Yeah, well, so the thing is like, yes, I'd be an absolute like numbnuts if I were telling you, "Oh my god, it was a great performance against Sporting and super heroic and yada yada." No, 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 no,
No,
no,
what
no, no,
was
no,
it?
no, 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 no. It was the dog crap. It was not good. It was a sickness, but we enjoyed it. No, but it was terrible. I'm going to be honest with you. It wasn't great. I mean, Dusan apparently again left his shoes at home. It was funny because Misak left us a really good stat about Dusan, which I thought
Yeah.
was interesting. But like, the thing is speaking of that Sporting game, just briefly about it. You know how many tweets I saw with people saying, "Oh my gosh, Dusan you couldn't have hit that pass that Quadrado beamed at Dusan's forehead." I'm like, are we seriously getting to this point now where we're starting to look at like players that are underperforming and just finding it? The dude didn't have a good game. Come on, people, move on that. But really though, Sporting was an uninspiring tie. Even our Sporting friends from 160 EN were just like, yeah, we were terrible too.
Yeah.
Like it was.
I
If you
felt
guys
so
watch
bad
that,
for him.
I was gonna say you watch that post game with us and them, like they're like, wow, we played terrible, and I'm like, yeah, so did we.
Yeah,
But
they
the
just
thing
played more
is, though,
terrible at the end of the day, and so it was
ironically, hey,
slightly less.
but the silver lining is at least they did not play like Harry Maguire, who responsibly, single-handedly set Manchester United home.
Mm-hmm.
And again, what is this Ten Hag ball? This amazing Ten Hag ball that everyone keeps telling me about. Conceded 5 goals against a relegation Sevilla. So like,
Okay, stop
move on
trashing
here.
Sevilla. I don't want to trash Sevilla. All right, like,
I'm not trashing Sevilla. No, I'm not trashing them. But like the thing is like, guys, they swap coaches
twice.
right before the Man United tie. That's why I'm just like, really?
That
Like,
was kind of
really?
ballsy to do that. Yeah.
It was extremely ballsy, and I guess it paid out. But yeah, again, not our best, not the best performance. But the point that I want to iterate is that we're winning while playing absolutely atrocious, which is a kind of a good thing. Because like the thing is
Weird.
again, could you imagine if a team played their best and we played shitty and still won? Like,
It would
oh,
suck for them.
yeah, because like the thing is, I was more pissed about the Lazio loss than about the Sassuolo loss because I'm like, damn, we actually played really good, but we still just couldn't get it in.
Yeah.
Versus like Sassuolo, I'm like, like it's absolutely repulsive. But like it's, I still am. Yes, David, I still am. But yeah, it's just things like that, man. Like I'm not trying to say have your head up your butt and sit there and be like everything's fine, everything's dandy, but like we're playing terrible, but we're still winning. That's something. That's
Yeah.
something good. So it's like it's it's one of those things. Like I get it. I understand everyone's frustration that we're not playing typical Italian counterattacking. We're not doing that. I get that. I totally understand. But like at the critical points of the season, the games that we've needed to win, we've won, even though we've played ugly. So, like, for example, yes, the Sassuolo and Lazio, I didn't think that they were must-win games. They're not, because again, for me, at the end of the day, the tables, it's meaningless. You're not going to get silverware for finishing second. Again, we'll see what happens this week against Inter in the San Siro. Apparently, Lukaku cried enough and got his suspension pardoned by
You're
Gravina.
spilling all the guts, man.
Ah,
Gotta
damn
save
it!
these things.
Sorry,
Come on.
sorry, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. But
All right,
we're still in the press conference before I like go on another tangent.
yeah. Let's wrap this up. Okay, I'll just like abridge it
I'm
even more.
fired. I'm fired. I'm muting myself.
He's basically saying all points are on the board. We have to fight for them. Next point, man, rushing through this because Dash can't shut up. Adrian Rabiot has made a lot of progress, but I think he still has room for improvement. He can step up with regards to his vertical passing and also shooting from distance. Accurate? I'd say it's pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Tomorrow morning, I will weigh up how the players are. There's nothing wrong with Bremer, but I have to see how he has recovered. Both Rugani and Bonucci have been doing well in training, while De Chilio is completely available. Okay. Good to know. Lord DeCilio on deck. Federico Chiesa played 90 minutes on Thursday, so we need to wait and see how he will recover. We came back yesterday afternoon and we headed out on the training pitch. We have today to recover energy, and then we can look ahead. It's looking at
he's been building confidence though, because
I did like Kostic though, is what yeah. He has, but we're looking at Kostic.
I would. He played 90 minutes, and the thing is, I still don't think Chiesa's mentally there yet right now. I think he's still kind of like worried that he's gonna hurt his leg. It's just you can tell by the way he moves.
He's been looking okay though.
He's getting his footing back, but like it's not as. Here's the thing: it wasn't as prevalent as it was when he first came back. Because, like, for example, you could tell that he was really hesitant when he would cut in or cut out with his dribbles, where it's like now you're starting to see it a little bit more. So I just think Chiesa, once he built, I think Chiesa will be 100% next season, but I think he still needs to just build that confidence up.
All right, so that's the presser. Here we are. Lineups aren't out, so these are all tentative. What do we see? This one has Lord DeCilio. So yeah, conflicting reports so far with regards to Bremer. Latest I heard just before the stream was that Bremer was going to go in for Bonucci.
Really?
Yeah. I can check that source actually, see who we're talking about here. Sky. So sure. Whatever they cool. I don't care about them. Maybe true, maybe not. But movement there. Kostic. Are we both feeling Kostic out there?
I think so. Yeah, he had a rest against Sporting, so
yeah.
I would think he'd come in.
I think that one's a for sure. Rabiot never gets rested. So
I mean,
I don't know.
he's got 11 goals. He's our top goal scorer.
He is, yeah. So he keeps on playing. All right, Locatelli. Yeah, I think he's good to go. Moretti, though. I'm not sure about Moretti.
Fajoli? No, Fajoli was. I think Fajoli was supposed to be coming back, from what I heard.
Yeah, I'm gonna put Fajoli in there myself. I don't think Moretti has what it takes against Napoli. We're talking about.
Nah, it's got to be Fajoli. I don't think
you got it.
What if he flips the script and puts Paredes on there? Then Wings of Winter is going to come in and say, we lost again. Paredes started. Even though that's actually kind of funny. Every game Paredes starts, we lose. So,
yeah, I'd rather see Barrenechea.
Yeah.
Regardless. So I'm going to put Fajoli there. DeCilio, I can see to shore it up defensively because Gatti's going to bomb up there anyways, and he's going to be the right back.
Pretty much.
So I got to go with that. I like that, actually. And Milik Vlahovic, Shurkin's still injured, so we don't see Chiesa or Di Maria. So, yeah, I think they're good off the bench, both of those. This is a good, other than I'm going to say Fajoli. And then maybe Bremer instead of Bonucci, but whatever. Like, Bonucci needs to start playing eventually, right? When does he start?
I know.
Regardless, what do you feel? I don't know. Would you change anything other than what I said?
No, I don't think so.
Looks good. This is what we've been asking for, some sort of sameness, week to week.
Yeah, because I'm kind of curious to see how Milik and Dusan play with each other, because it's always been one or the other, and then Di Maria. So I'm kind of curious to see how they react to each other. And I think I saw a comment that someone was saying our number 9 could be Benzema, Suarez, or Trezeguet or Drogba, and they still wouldn't perform. Come on, man. Those guys, Dusan's not even at that level yet, and you're using Benzema and Suarez and those guys. Come on now, let's be objective here, because if we're
upsetting Dash, come on,
come on. We don't even know Dusan's trajectory.
Whatever, don't get him at. He just agreed with me, so whatever. Screw you, Dash.
Okay. All right, fine. That's whatever. I don't know. I mean, if you go on our Discord, Misak actually did a really awesome post and looking at the stats. Like, Misak is a really big stats guy, so
it was good.
Go on there, take a read, see what you think about it. But
and to get there, barcode,
and there's the barcode,
or down in the description, there's a link.
Yeah, Misak posted a really awesome article, and I kind of was looking at it. I'm like, I don't disagree with it, and it's one of those things. So look, I'm not either for him. I'm not against him. I'm more in the middle. But there's some times where he's just again hasn't something's just giving me an irk about him, an ick per se. So we'll just leave it at that.
Could somebody tell me the difference between a Kyle George doubtful and a Gleason Bremer doubtful? I don't
Gleason
think they're the
Bremer.
same thing. They're
I
not
don't
using
think
the
so.
word correctly if you're using them for both people.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think that's a correct representation on that.
No, that needs to have
Why is
better wording.
Kyle George even on here?
I
Like
don't know.
he's been sent to next gen anyways, even if he does come back.
Yeah. So he should technically be taken off, I would think. But
Yeah, I don't know why he's listed as a first team player.
and Bremer again, doubtful. I guess doubtful. We don't know 100%, even though Allegra kind of says maybe.
Hey, this comment's funny.
Yeah,
It
no,
says
there's no,
at least there's no hit that's written / doubtful.
because we don't even know where he
No,
is.
it would say personal problems / doubtful. That's how it would list on there.
Oh, come on. Yeah. He's had a rough go. I don't know what he's
Yeah.
got going on, but it
I
seems
think
rough.
that's actually what FOTMob lists players like, though. It would be like legitimate personal problems / doubtful.
No, perhaps.
So
And
that's actually interesting.
on the Napoli doubtful side, Giovanni Simeone, also Mario Rui and Matteo Politano are out. A couple defenders. So that puts I don't know.
It's actually a really big loss that they lost Mario Rui.
Because Juan Jesus, I don't know. He's got a 7.4 FOTMob rating and a goal. We'll see. We'll see tomorrow how he holds up.
You say he's only played 10 matches.
Yeah.
Oh, what's his face? Rahmani is also injured too.
Is he?
Yeah, I would assume he is.
He's
not listed on there, but because I know Rahmani went down midweek.
He did. That's right.
Yeah, because it was Rui. Who else? Politano with an ankle, and then Rahmani as well.
Let's see if we can find him here.
Yeah, right there.
See, okay, so they show him as injured. So why is he not on the injured list? FOTMob do better. Okay, but yeah, so there's another big one out there. And what's center back? Yeah, another defender. So they are weak in the back. Now's the time. Now's the time to pounce for a 1 goal. But yeah, otherwise they do have a pretty decent lineup. I gotta say, Oshiman, Lozano going in on the right. He's kind of dropped off though, eh?
Lozano's a good bench player for them. I think again the big tandem is going to be 77 and 9. That's going to be their big thing.
But I'm kind of curious. Politano there.
I'm kind of curious how a partnership with Kim and Jesus is going to be in the middle because it's not Rahmani, which I don't think he's going to play, but because that back line for Napoli, the left center back and the left back, Oliveira and Jesus are going to be a little bit questionable because again, it's not their main guys. So it kind of makes you wonder how deep Lobotka and Zielinski are going to be playing to cover for that space. But I think, is it fair to say that Kvaratskhelia kind of on a little bit of a dip of form?
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, he was firing on all cylinders at the beginning of the season, right? So
yeah,
a dip of form, yes. But would he still say he's?
Because like when I was looking at when I was talking to like Milan and Napoli fans post Champions League, and I was like reading some of the stuff, a lot of people were saying that he kind of dipped a little bit with his recent performances.
So a couple bad games here against Tellus and Milan, according to FOTMob.
Yeah, because like the thing is, like even Matt brings it up here in the chat where he says that like Calabria absolutely nullified him, which I thought was the case because like I forgot he was playing half the time, and this isn't me like being banter or talking smack or anything like that, but like especially the Milan games, like Calabria, and then Calabria's not really, I'm not saying he's like the greatest right back in the world.
He's underrated.
Like that.
I love him. He's underrated.
Yeah, so like he absolutely nullified him completely, and that's just one dude, essentially. So like I don't know, like could be that Calabria just had 3 of the most coincidental, amazing matches of his life, or Kvaratskhelia kind of taking a little bit of a dip because he was pocketed all 3 of those games.
Maybe he's getting a little bit tired too, because I mean, how
I
many
would
games has
assume
he
so.
been rested, right?
But
He's been
yeah,
playing a lot.
no, yeah, for sure. So it's like part of me sitting there, and to be honest, if I was Napoli, I wouldn't even be taking this match seriously if I were them.
You know they are. Come on.
I know they are, but I'm just saying, like, I think it'd be funny if we absolutely humiliate them, but chances of that happening. But
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, they got the solid midfield, who we haven't even touched on yet, of Anguissa, Laboka, and Zelensky. So
yeah,
that's going to be a tough matchup, knowing how we can't string together any passes. That's going to be a big talking point there, because they're going to lock us down if we can't get through, if we can't make our passes through the midfield.
no, for sure.
I mean, their defense might suck right now overall, but if you can't get the pass out there, what are you gonna do?
See, the thing is really, it's technical wise or tactical wise, it's like our transition play is just not good.
No.
So it's like, people are complaining about a play style and stuff like that. It's just like we're literally trying to emulate what Milan had introduced: sit back, soak up pressure, and then ping 2 or 3 balls and hit on the counter. But it's just like that final ball we have is just not good. Like, you're either overshooting the striker, the striker's too slow, or like, for example, at this point, like, it's kind of funny, but I would just put Rabiot as a number 9 because like half the goals that he's been getting right now are like number 9 goals.
Yeah.
So it's like it's absolutely like Giannis is out for the Heat. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. And then Helicopter says him tomorrow. I'm curious to see if there's a handshake. What are the odds for a Spalletti Allegri handshake?
Ooh, that's an excellent question. I love that. I love it. I also just put the link back in. I just realized I've been going for 40 minutes, and I promised you guys some airtime. So start lining up, start getting on to the StreamYard here. Log on in, get your camera or not, whatever. We don't care if you have your camera or not, but definitely get your mic going. Make sure your mom's not yelling at you for dinner, that kind of stuff. Get ready.
That's a KF jab.
Dash, do you have any other points to wrap up the pregame?
No, I think the thing is just you guys got to be careful with Napoli's high press if they're able to get balls in behind, because the thing is Napoli play with a very high line. You soak pressure if you're able to get 2 or 3 balls. If again Dusan and Milik are able to do somewhat of a decent hold up play, there's a pretty good chance of us playing well. If worse comes to worse, you just put Rabiot as your number 9 and just beam balls to him, because apparently Rabiot is the only player that really knows besides Bremer how to head balls into the net. So, because literally, I think Rabiot's got like 5 or 6 goals off corners with headers, and then
Gotti's going to eventually figure out how to do it.
Gotti's going to figure out how to beat 4 people and actually score instead of just beating 3 people and getting penalties. Frankie'd be right now. Enough with the Gotti slander.
Yeah, he must be working, slinging liquor bottles at the store.
He probably is. It'd be funny if Frankie had us playing, because like a lot of liquor stores have like big screen TVs and stuff like that where they're playing sports, and then like Frankie's just playing our live stream.
Wisconsin, there's just some Wisconsinner. Hey, bud, what you got there on the old telly?
What's you got on the telly?
What's that Sally sport y'all watching there? You got the Wild are playing the Stanley Cup playoffs here. There, bud. What are you doing? Are you some sort of Sally?
Is that Aaron Rodgers over there? He kind of looks like Aaron Rodgers, the one above the guy with the baseball cap. He looks like an Aaron Rodgers kind of guy. Is he taking calls? Oh, are you speaking to him on the phone lines? Can you tell him to not get traded to the Jets and actually stay here? Much appreciated, young buck.
Oh man, you went a little south, but yeah, I think it works. Whatever.
It's Midwest.
It's red.
Midwest,
it's red.
Midwest and South are similar.
Yeah, close enough. Mine wasn't the greatest either, I'm sure. But I do love the accent. Just watch. What's the? I just brain farted. The movie / TV show in the Midwest in Wisconsin. Is it Wisconsin?
Is it? I don't know. I don't even know what show you're talking about.
It's that really awkward. It's about that really awkward. Okay, I'm gonna look it up. I gotta look it up.
On that note, guys, StreamYard link is there. Go ahead, call in if there's any topics you want to talk about. Again, we ask that you remain courteous and not, use methods of hate speech or stuff like that, because we're not in the mood to get yelled by YouTube. So try to keep it clean. Again, this depending on how many of
Fargo.
you folks hop in.
Fargo.
Fargo,
Fargo.
that's like a city in North Dakota, right by the border. But anyways, folks,
No, where is Fargo? Oh, they actually filmed part of it in Calgary. Screw you guys, it's Canada. North Dakota.
I just said that.
Did you say North Dakota?
Yeah,
Okay,
I said
North
that's a
Dakota.
city in North Dakota by
I
the
thought it
border.
was. Yeah, but okay. What's it border with? What's the east of there?
What's east of North Dakota?
Yeah,
Minnesota.
Minnesota. That's what I'm thinking. Minnesota. The Minnesota accent. Minnesota.
It's like we, in the United States we call Minnesota like pseudo Canada.
Yeah, and people from Winnipeg, Manitoba, they talk like Minnesota people.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about this Lukaku crap.
Okay.
What the fuck is going on?
Nima complained enough on Twitter, and Gravina saw it and gave him a pardon. So,
oh my god, his articles. I've always thought they were cringe. Now I just think they're really cringe. I don't know if there's a bias setting in there, but man,
might be a little bit.
Man, there's. Okay, so Lukaku, because Gravina just said, fuck it, I'm the president, overturned Lukaku's match ban for the semifinal. Because fuck you, Juve. I don't know. I don't actually have a better answer than that.
It sounds messed up, but I'd rather have him play than be suspended. You know how that guy is the absolute definition of a memeable
Yeah,
player.
no. And then I thought about that. And when you get a penalty and then you miss it because you probably shouldn't have had a penalty in the first place. I want that game to be like that because Lukaku's penalty got egregiously overturned, that they're just going to bottle it all because God is on our side, because it's the righteous path, because of that kind of nonsense.
Because, the dude still, I'm just saying, what's funny was I was reading all the comments about that, on the news articles, and everyone consistently was just commenting advantage Juve. Even the Inter fans were just like advantage Juve. Like the Milan fans, the Inter fans were just like advantage Juventus.
Oh man, that's amazing. I love it.
So hey, that's the kind of thing. One last topic that I'll kind of talk about before, and again, guys, don't be shy. Hop in, speak your piece, guys. State your stuff. I can't even finish the sentence. Damn. So I saw this one pod release a title saying Serie A is the best league in the world. Because again, they said because AC Milan and Inter Milan are in the semifinals, and Juve and Roma are in the semifinals, and Fiorentina's in the semifinals. There's 5 Italian teams in Europe, and Serie A is the best. Blah blah blah. No, that's not the case.
I've seen a lot that say even though there's this many Italian teams, Italy's still crap and broken. Blah blah blah. That's the English stuff, anyways.
Well, you know what? They should just, suck on the tears of Ten Hag crying because Harry Maguire apparently is the best striker ever for the opposite team. But the thing is come on, let's be real here, folks. If we look at the path to the semifinals for Milan and Inter, Tottenham and Napoli for Milan, and then it's for Inter, it's Porto and Benfica. That was their pathway to the finals. It's you beat Portugal, you beat a really crappy English team, and then you beat a Napoli that fumbled the bag. That's not, I'm sorry, but that's not, proof that Serie A is a dominant league.
You are going to have to look at, the competition overall, right?
Because let's be real here. Because you look at the other side of the bracket, it's okay, Real Madrid played against Liverpool and Chelsea. Both of them arguably not really doing that well. But Man City played against Bayern Munich, and then they played against Salzburg. They cruised through Salzburg, absolutely rocked Bayern Munich because Bayern Munich decided to change their coach midseason because, whatever. But I don't know. For me, it's you look at the opposite side. Whoever wins between Man City and Real Madrid is absolutely going to curb stomp.
Absolutely curb stomp him. And
absolutely.
Oh, man, I just can't wait for Madrid just like a 38-year-old Modric cross just into the box for a beautiful goal from like Vinny or something. I just can't wait for Man City to get dismantled once again and Real Madrid to get yet another Champions League title, because why the fuck not?
Because though I would love to see a Milan Madrid final just because Carlo Ancelotti and it's on his birthday. So
sure, yeah, I
for
don't
me
care which Milan
as a
team,
neutral,
really,
for me as a neutral, I think
it's
that's
okay.
cool.
Actually, I would say AC Milan I would more prefer, because Inter is
they're Inter,
but
and then
yeah.
And then like the other thing too, like let's look at the Europa League as well. It's like, no offense to us, but we didn't have the most inspiring bracket for the Europa League either. So it's
No,
like
absolutely not.
we had Nauts, Freiburg, all respect to Freiburg, and then Sporting. And again, all respect to Sporting, but the only reason why people were antsy about this tie is because we're not the sharpest Juventus we've been. So again, if it's, theoretically how we're supposed to be, that's a cakewalk. Sevilla too, outside of the Jeepers Creepers of the Europa League, that they're apparently the Real Madrid of the Europa League, not really much of a feat. Like, let's be honest here. I mean, if we take out that somehow they like to win the Europa League, if we just look at it from Sevilla themselves as a squad, not that impressive. Same thing with Roma. Their pathway to the final has been Dutch teams. It was like a Turkish team too, I think, that they played. But like Roma,
can't even remember. Did you pay attention to the Conference League at all? I could look it up.
No. I didn't. Not to them, but like for example, I can pull up who they played in the Europa League. But Roma didn't have that much of an inspiring run in the Europa League. It's not like they beat anyone crazy. So it's like, so it's Feyenoord that they beat, and then who else did they beat? Give me 1 second,
I'm
guys.
just gonna look up Roma. Apparently, Google doesn't like it.
Real Sociedad. So they played Real Sociedad. They played Feyenoord, and then that was pretty much it. And Salzburg. So it's like,
and RKC Valvik.
And that's Austria. That's Austria Salzburg, not Germany Salzburg.
Oh yeah,
by the way.
Point.
So like,
Cadiz is another one, lower table Spanish team.
So
oh no, that was friendly. Sorry.
Like I understand you beat those that are in front of you, but that to me, like, and then like for example, you look at Fiorentina, they beat a team that had part-time footballers in the last round, and they nearly fumbled that in a sense. So it's like, I don't know. And then Lazio absolutely embarrassed themselves in the Conference League, which was an absolute joke. But like, I don't know. For me, guys in the chat, or if you guys want to come in and talk about it, but like personally, we got luck. In my opinion, I think we got the luck of the draw. Do I think that Serie A is hands down the greatest league right now? Because for us to say Serie A is the greatest league right now, as far as team quality wise, we have to do what we did this year consistently.
Okay, how about this? If we win Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League, we treble-ize. I don't care. Then it's memeable. Then it's memeable. We're the best.
It is. It's memeable because then we can make fun of the Premier League, which I'm all for.
How crazy would that be?
It would be awesome, but I have a very hard time believing that Fiorentina is going to win the Conference League, in my opinion.
Yeah, or Inter or Milan winning the Champions League, but
of course.
But like us and Roma both have a solid chance of meeting the finals.
Yeah, we do. And then Fiorentina also has a solid chance of going to the Conference League finals. It depends on how they handle Basel. Basel might be.
Yeah, they can be interesting. They've played in the Champions League too.
Yeah, but this season they're not doing too hot in the Swiss League. They're 7th, but there's only 10 teams in the Swiss League, so they're like mid-table. But Basel isn't really in the best of form. But the thing is it's not Basel that I'm worried about. It's West Ham that is probably going to make a run into the Conference League
West Ham could do some damage.
So yeah, because if they beat Basel, then they'll essentially play West Ham in the final. So it's like, that's where I'm kind of looking at it, where it's like, ugh.
You know what's hilarious in Ted Lasso is that West Ham's in second place in the standing in the EPL. They're like this powerhouse team. Yeah,
it's actually really funny.
West Ham.
Yeah, and then also like the winner of West Ham and that AZ squad. That AZ squad is the one that absolutely bent over Lazio and then playing really
Yeah,
well too. So
they're not a bad
uh,
team.
they're not. So again, for me the chances of Fiorentina winning, eh, eh.
Yeah.
I think really, to be honest with you guys, I think really the best shot of anything is the Europa League between Roma and and I said United, uh, Juve. I don't know why I'm thinking of that. So it's like one of those things where I don't. I think it was a stretch. I think they kind of jumped the gun by saying Serie A is the best league in the world because right now is probably the only time that they can say it. Because after this round, I highly doubt that they'll be able to say it.
Well, just like
But
Italy could say they were the best there for, I don't know, a couple months before the Nations League started up again, and then qualifying. We had our moment.
yeah, we had our
We,
summer.
I mean, that Italy flag that's there in my desk is the Euro 2020 whatever. Yeah, I think they stuck the 2020 on that one, even though it was 2021. But yeah, I mean, I totally jumped on that. So jumped on that. Whatever, you take it.
Well, and the thing too, so like even to talk about Roma, they could probably lose to Bayern Leverkusen because Xabi Alonso is having that team play outstanding. Like,
What does Bones here mean? Sarah had the best with her 720 stream.
720
Oh,
pixels,
720p.
pixels.
Yeah. Oh,
He said
man.
he's about to call you a boomer because he didn't understand what 720 was.
I mean, put the P on it, man.
That's what she said.
Or seven. We have. I thought that was a reference at first to how many different streamers we have because we do actually. There's a lot of content for Serie A for it being an Italian league and the amount of English content out there across. I mean, even just Juve, but all the teams. It's actually quite impressive.
Yeah. So, kind of talking about Leverkusen briefly is so their run to the semifinal. They scored 10 goals against Monaco within 2 legs. 4 goals against Feyenoord, 5 goals against that Belgian team, and they're playing Roma. So it's like
Saint Gillois.
Saint Gillois. So they're again, there's a chance that they can knock out Roma here, and again, us with Sevilla too. It's toss up right now at the moment. So it's like I don't know. I think it's a stretch. It's up to you guys if you guys think that What do you guys think? Do you think Serie A is back? Do you think Serie A is the best league in the world just because we've had players or essentially 5 teams still in Europe in the end of April? You throw it in the chat. If you guys want to come in, hop on, talk to us about it.
Yeah.
StreamYard links there too. So like, I think that's the one topic I kind of want to open up this the call-in segment of the show. Let's talk about Serie A, guys.
Yeah,
Let's
you guys
talk about
actually
the
have to
state of
call.
the league.
You guys have to call in first.
You got to call.
I mean,
in.
some nights you guys are like, oh, I want everyone. Everyone wants to do it.
Yeah, everybody wants to do it, and then
Now
we
tonight,
do it, and then
I
people
see
are like,
how
I'm
it is.
ashamed. I'm scared.
And Misak went to go watch John Wick. Bastard.
I know. He's supposed to come in, but he's not. David saying the Premier League is a horrible league, in my opinion. It's just that 20 teams with a lot of money and no cohesiveness. Tactically, Germany and Spain and Italy are the best. It only has 3 teams, and the rest is horrible. Yeah.
Michael's saying the most
corrupt
corrupt.
league. This was my favorite. That was my favorite comment. He's like, F no.
Yeah, just no. And debatable too with most corrupt. The Spanish one is pretty fucked too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get to South America, there's some corrupt leagues.
Yeah, that one, it depends on how much cocaine you sell the most. That's what gets you there. Boyka Juniors, haha, wink, wink. It's like that team is like half owned by the Argentinian cartel.
Actually, Sam Adamo on his podcast, he was talking to some boys from Toronto. They were talking about the Canadian Premier League and York United, which would technically be my most home team. But just how it was like a bunch of local businessmen, like Italian construction companies, whatever, that were just trying to launder money or some shit. Anyways, it's good. Watch it out.
They were trying to launder. They're trying to launder. They're trying to launder money by selling Julia Grosso feet pics, but they got busted.
Oh man, that would probably do quite well. Yes.
KB says
that'll be our next shirt. Just your feet.
Just her feet. Oh my goodness, we would get sued on. We would get sued out the like a cease and whatever. cease and desist by Juve. They'd be like, hey, and then like 2 weeks later, Juventus starts selling Julia Cross. Oh, I would die laughing. Oh, that would be so funny. It would be messed up, but so funny.
Oh, she almost had a banger today too. She held up like 3 defenders, turned around and just launched it at the net. Unfortunately, at that point, the goalkeeper knew what was up, but man, she just
different.
bossed Roma. They lost 3-2, by the way. Roma does have the female league secured
Pretty
at
much
this
locked
point.
up.
So
Yeah. And then so Bone says he's not home. He can't right now. Unacceptable. Dave. Oh, what a goat! I gotta give you an applause here. I gotta give you an applause here. Our man David here is at a wedding party listening to us.
Love
that
it.
is an absolute just. Big round of applause for Dave for listening to us during a wedding party.
Good for you. I don't like weddings either.
Hey, so you gotta tell us. Hey, so how's the food, Dave? Like, is it good? Is it okay? Is it bad? How's the cake? You're gonna be our wedding correspondent right now.
It's a little early.
You know how funny it would be if we could just like ping Dave into the call and just have him with the camera on and just like go pan around the wedding and Dave's be like, all right, cool. Our wedding correspondent, David Elitok. David, I just want to come in and say the cake tastes like shit and the bride looks like an absolute bum. Back to you, Dave and Dash.
Oh man. That would be hilarious. That would be, I don't know, that'd be my greatest streaming moment in history, I think.
And then,
I don't have many. I mean, let's be honest, but that would be the best.
He has commented, breaking news from, hold on. We got to play this. We got to do this right. Breaking news from David Elitok. His wedding has very nice pasta Alfredo. I repeat, the wedding has nice pasta Alfredo. Back to you, Canadian Dave.
So you haven't reached the meat dish yet. So I'm wondering if it's just going to be one of those dry, really disappointing chicken breasts, or are you going to get like the nice prime rib? Or
no, it's going to be a dry. It's going to be a dry chicken breast.
Oh, that's the worst. It's the worst. Sometimes you get the fish plate if they get right fancy with it, but that can be sketchy too. You never know. Always go with the roast beef if they have it.
Yeah, but when you go with when they do Alfredos, because it's by plate at like banquet halls, they give you the terrible chicken breast. It's 100%. And another breaking news from David.
The cakes are always shit. They are always shit because they're just meant to look good, not taste good.
Oh, that's a shame. And then Bones coming in, plot twist. He is the groom.
Yeah, if he was the groom, that will make for either a very long or a very short marriage.
Oh, that's so funny.
All right, well, let's bang out another point here. If we're not going to have people come on, whatever, we'll just shoot the shit ourselves. Screw you guys. But
I've got news for you. You are mine now. You belong to me. I've got news for you. You are mine now. You belong to me.
Okay, Arnold, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Relax.
Chill,
Relax, Arnold.
Chill, relax.
No, KB. Nobody wants to talk to us tonight. Not even you.
Hey,
we talked about that. Where were you at the beginning of the stream, KB? We're already over that. Just flying in here. I saw you stream today too, but it was at 3 in the afternoon. Like, who streams at 3 in the afternoon, KB?
Emotional damage.
That's one fucked up wedding with the guest and groom are listening to TG. Yeah, hey, we're making it big. What can we say?
Hey.
Emotional damage.
Oh man. Speaking of emotional damage, Carabini. I think he's damaged goods at this point, eh?
This is what he played on his way out.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please.
Yeah, Carabini is out at the end of the season. So,
yeah, looking very much in that direction. he's kind of removed from any of the decision making as well. It seems like he still shows up. He's still a face. We do see him in the stands watching the games. Yeah, on the project, they just cut out like the stupid montage of photos they took for the past 5 years of them kissing.
No. He's saying he's saying that Dave hacked on their projector and is presenting our live stream on the projector, so we actually have more viewers than our numbers are telling us.
Oh, okay, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like he cut out that crap, that montage of that nobody wants to watch. They just want to eat the roast beef. They always do it when the roast beef's out. Why do I've been trying to eat some roast beef and I gotta watch you kissing? Put the slideshow away. Give me my meat. This is ridiculous. Weddings. I didn't come for you. I came for the food because I had no choice because your family. And the bar, obviously. I mean, Italian weddings are open bars. So might as well try to forget. And the happy ending is poaching Gentoli from Napoli to replace him.
Good job.
Yeah, so let's get into that.
Let's talk about that because we talked about that on our call-in show on Monday, where we were kind of talking about kind of the direction, people venting, and some of the things.
But we have a new name now.
We do.
Trezeguet. Where did that come from?
Yeah, Trezeguet being poised potentially. I can talk today. Potentially for Trezeguet to become the new sporting director, which is interesting. I know he was doing managerial stuff, but I don't know. To be honest with you, I'd rather have already in.
Yeah, like what's his credentials?
Like hey, don't get me wrong, dude's a goat. Like I mean, he's
yeah, of course. But that's not where. As a Jesus Christ.
He's talking. Just, that's why he's MVP. That's why he's the goat.
No, obviously we're not trying to take his footballing career away from him, but just parachute in as a sporting director all of a sudden.
He's as good of a sporting director as Dusan Vlahovic is a striker.
Or is
I'm kidding.
Or is he just gonna be like, we'll just give you this? Oh my god, I can't even talk to that. You got all your trash going here.
I know.
Is he just gonna be another face? And does Allegri stay? And then he's just the manager coach and he just makes all the decisions.
Look, I can't stand with, like, for example, if we have, I don't want to say a puppet sporting director, but like a sporting director that's just there to hold the title. Like, no, we need someone that has an actual vision and project that where they want to go and how they want to do it. Because it's like yes, I appreciated Arriva Bene. Like I liked him because he was, to the books, to the money and all that stuff, where he's like, okay, here you go, Bones.
All right, y'all settle down now. You hear?
But like the thing is like you need a director that has great scouting, that has a vision. There's a way, like, hey, this is how I want the team that I'm managing to play. This is the coach that I want for it. Because like the thing is like we can talk about Zidane, we can talk about De Zerbi, we can talk about all of these coaches. Like let's even say Pep Guardiola and them. If we don't have a sporting director that aligns with the philosophy of football that they want to play, it doesn't mean shit. Like, for example, say that we have a sporting director that's more of a De Zerbi approach and we bring in Zidane as our manager. They're not going to get along that well. Because, again, the coach says, this is the players that I want. Sporting director, can we do this? And the sporting director says, no, we're not getting these players. We're looking at this and this. Make it work. So, like, the thing is like one of the things that determines a successful franchise, and in the United States, we don't call them sporting directors, we call them general managers in sports. So the one thing is like in most sports, really successful franchises, they have a sporting director or a general manager. They hire the coach, they hire the players to that extent. Where it's like, if you think about it, last season, there even prior to, like, for example, let's talk about the end of Allegri till now. Paratici was just buying players for shits and giggles. Like Paratici didn't buy players for Sarri.
No.
He said, this is what I'm bringing. Make that shit work. Same thing with Pirlo as well.
Yeah.
You could say McKennie was a Pirlo purchase. That's fair. But like, again, that make that shit
I
work.
think it was like, here's $20 million or euros, whatever. What do you want? I
Yeah.
think it was like, here's your allowance. Go spend it.
Pretty much. And then, like, for example, you look at Arriva Bene and Cherubini. I still am kind of curious. Did Allegri want Dusan, or did they just pounce on getting Dusan at the time? I don't know, but
I feel that they bounced.
I that's what I think so too. But again, like those guys, hey, get this player, make it work. Where it's like we can
just
argue.
went- you can
Go ahead.
argue. I'm just thinking about this. What if we just kept Morata? What was it, like 30 mil? We would have had to spend. Nobody's been talking about that. Like, would that have not just been the same?
I think it would have. As fucked up as it sounds, like I think it would have, and I think Morata probably would have potentially played better because he's more of an Allegri-esque player. Because like that, think about it. For the people that are saying that again, it's 100% Allegri's fault that Dusan's not performing. If you had Morata instead of Dusan, like
you'd still probably have 8 goals.
You'd still probably have 8 goals.
But
like
for
in
like
theory,
$40 million less.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have made him the highest paid player in Serie A. Like that would actually be like that. That holy shit, Dave. That's actually a really big what if moment.
What about Morata?
Like, what if we actually kept Morata instead of Dusan? That's bonkers.
Yeah, Yusuf saying, yeah, we could have bought some fullbacks with the money.
Because like let's think about it. Let's think about it this way. Let's have some what if scenarios here. Let's have some fun. So you don't buy Dusan, you resign Dybala, you keep Morata. Because essentially, if you don't sign Dybala, if you don't sign Vlahovic, if we don't do this operation whatsoever, you keep Dybala and you keep Morata. You make Morata's deal permanent because it was like what, 30 million? So either they either got a discount or re-engaged the loan to lower the value even more. So they'd have Alvaro Morata and they'd have Paulo Dybala, Paul Pogba, and yada yada yada. Let's just say that Dybala is healthy like he is this season for Roma. Let's just say that hypothetically.
And he wasn't completely healthy, but
he wasn't completely healthy this season, but better than the last season. Holy crap! I think we would have had a better offense. Because Morata's off the ball movement, I don't care what people say about him. His off the ball movement's actually pretty good. His pressing is contributing and all that stuff. And then and I'm pretty sure Morata would have more offsides and like goals taken away from offsides.
Yeah, just from like those alone.
Like that is absolutely bonkers. Because like for example, we still have Milik. Like we have Milik and Keane. We just again have Dybala and Morata on the. Fuck, that's a really good what if situation. Holy shit!
Do we bring him back? Is Morata still with Atleti? Is he getting playtime?
I don't know. I think he is.
Let's. I'm gonna look him up in ThoughtMob here. Might as well share the screen as I.
Because that's absolutely bonkers. And then Compashiro says we still have our favorite Kaio George. That's funny. So he's only
29 matches, 10 goals, 2 assists.
He's got more. So he's got more goals than Dusan.
Differently, granted, sure, I get it. Not direct comparison, but so what we're saying is it would be the same thing, but for $40 million less.
Yeah, it would be the same thing, but not spending as much money. And then David says Morata can stumble one in at least. Yeah, he could have. And then Yusuf Miro says, Dave, you have apps. He says, the question is, Yusuf, how did he do it? Did he just kind of tease it and tickle underneath your cerebellum and then just kind of caressed it and got it all nice and warm and then right through?
The best part is that you can't tell that I do it.
I know. He like
I always just walk away as like, yeah, that's right.
You just went into your ear and just swirled it around in there, and now your brain's turned into mush. Matt says, I like Morata. Even if he controlled his offsides, he would have been insane.
Yeah. But he was always in that position to get offside. That's sort of the point.
Here's the thing. Morata had a terrible confidence issue, but his off-the-ball movement was elite. Like, that guy just knew how to get cheese goals. Like, for example, he's like if Moise Kean evolved his cheesiness. Like, Alvaro Morata was the definition of cheese.
Yeah. And granted, he's 30. I get that, but man, let's mob him. Let's see what his contract looks like.
Holy smokes, man. That actually would have been insane.
Transfer market.
But do we sign Pogba if we re-sign Dybala?
No.
No, I think we
would have
would.
been okay because he never played.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, I still think we would have gotten him because you're not. Again, Dusan's wage gets traded with Dybala, and then Pogba comes in anyways, regardless. Oh my
His
god!
contract expires next June, so he's
I
on a
mean,
year left contract.
so yeah, he's probably like 10 to 15 million.
So 25, they're saying here. So yeah, 10 to 15. 10, I'd say 10.
Holy smokes, man!
10 plus bonus, maybe. Yeah.
Like
Let's do it.
2020.
Let's
Look,
sell Dusan to get Morata.
I'm just saying.
Oh man.
Like, and then David says this actually is a good comment. Well, Morata with a confidence problem or an 80 million.
Well, yeah,
problem?
exactly. Yeah. The 40 or 20,
Wow.
whatever, how much it is now, right?
Wow. Oh my God. Thinking about this, like 2020 hindsight, we took a big fat L.
Yeah. His
Like,
look, he actually raised in value when he came to
yeah,
Juve there.
we built him up.
Let's do it, guys. Juve, hope you're listening.
That's crazy. Because Morata is an Allegri striker. He plays for an Allegri system.
And he's
Like,
doing 62% of the starting 11, so that's pretty decent. 26% of the goal participation.
Yeah.
Not bad for Atleti.
Yeah. Wow, that's wild. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they're third. They've won their last 5 games. 60 points. So they're doing about just as well as Juve. Very interesting.
Wow, that is wild. That's so crazy. Because we would have a lot more money too, and now we're not sitting there like, oh my gosh, this is a flop. This is like, I'm not Dybala's greatest fan. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, but
Yeah,
like,
we know that.
having Dybala, Morata, and Pogba, like, that actually would have been a pretty good trio.
It would have probably
and then
worked.
Milik, I think it would have.
Yeah. Milik, Keane.
Yeah, and then if you told Dybala to stay center.
Yeah, and David, you're right. It's Diego Simeone-esque.
Terrible, as people would say it.
It's yeah. Terrorist ball. It's all the same.
I know we were supposed to talk about the sporting directors, but this was just the craziest what if situation that I've
And we
ever
have
seen in
talked
my
about the
life.
sporting director. It was more so Trezeguet, like tossing that on
Yeah.
top of the fire.
But there is apparently a strong approach for Guntoli for Napoli sporting director.
Yeah, and I know Tare keeps on coming up. What are the other names?
That's
There's
it. Well, the Sassuolo sporting director as well.
Yeah, what's his
But
name?
we had someone mention it up here. So David says Croce, sporting director of Frankfurt, is on his way out. He's incredibly crazy with scouting. He got Kostic and Kolomunani for free, and now, like, yeah, getting positives. That's the one thing Juventus needs, is they need a sporting director that can flip players.
Yep.
I'm not saying that, we need to sell, like, become a sell team, but like, we need someone that, again, like, and even Gombachiro says the director of Sassuolo or Atalanta, their scouting is top tier. Because the thing is like, good sporting directors can, sign players on good deals and bring in players that meet a system. Great sporting directors can flip players. Like, the best sporting directors can get a player that's not worth anything and flip them. Like, for example, Kvaratskhelia, they're going to make a net positive. They're going to make a huge plus Valencia on him. But, like, for example, sporting directors that can spot something, like, again, sporting directors and coaches have to work together, but the sporting director can get a coach that sees their philosophy, because, like, the sporting director is kind of like a pseudo coach where they dictate what they want the team to go, and they get the pieces that get the team in the vision that they see it. So, like, again, they have a coach and they find a couple of players that are low deals. Again, like your Zakarias for 5 million, put them in a system, make them look outrageously good, and then they sell them for 30, 35 million. Because, like, for example, that's what Atalanta does very freaking well.
Yeah. So I looked
Like,
it up. Giovanni Carnevali from Sassuolo and Tony D'Amico from Atalanta. I don't know. Yeah. Now we know their names, because I didn't know. Carnevali I've heard of before, but I don't know anything about D'Amico. I never hear about him.
I haven't either, but that's the thing, man. I give Atalanta mad props, and I give it to Sassuolo too, where it's like they bring in nobodies and they sell them for 20 to 30 million. Like that is just incredible. Like, for example, could you imagine if we had a bunch of next gen players that aren't really like Juve first team but Serie A quality?
Well,
Where like
Ranocchia is probably one of those.
yeah, like where you're able to take those guys and sell them for 25, 30 million consistently. Like
Yeah,
that
I
is
mean Ranocchia is probably not that expensive, but yeah, I mean if we were to say sell Maretti in a year or two, he'd probably come in at 30.
yeah.
You know,
it's like,
Fajoli right now, I bet you get 30 for him.
I think so. I think you could get 15 for Sule.
Yeah, you'd make some money out. Let's look it
Yeah,
up.
like that's what I'm saying. Like you need a sporting director that knows how to flip and sell. We can't sell for some reason. Like Juve cannot sell players to save their life.
20 million. Okay.
20. So what? Give or take.
Yeah, and
give or take.
he's just on an upward trend right now, right? He started at 8
exponential.
million.
Yeah, that's exponential. But again, I would add that's plus or minus 10, 15 million.
Maretti's at 15.
So that's roughly about 25, 30.
See, Ranocchia, no. And how do I spell his name? Oh, down here, Filippo Ranocchia, 1.8.
He still needs more time.
Yeah, he's 21 still. Rovella, 12, which isn't bad either.
So again, 25, 30 million. Because usually I always like to add 10 million, whatever the transfer market value is.
Why is there a freaking slash in there?
Just do Illing. I think it should just pop up.
Okay. There it is. 3.5.
So 15, 18 million.
And a 19-year-old. So again, you typically don't sell them super. Well, yeah, I guess you can if they're those superstars, but you develop them for a couple more years, and yeah, 20 to 30, they really break out.
Yeah. So
there's a lot of potential money in the books right now.
That's the thing that I give props to Atalanta, because Atalanta do something that Sassuolo can't, where Atalanta is competitive while flipping players.
Mm-hmm.
I think Atalanta is gonna. I think they're gonna be really good next season because
Atalanta puts in those veterans as well, right? They get the lower cost veterans, mix them all up.
Yep. They know how to compete.
You're fading on us.
Sorry, I know, but that's where I think Atalanta do it really, really well, and that's why I like their sporting director. Is they mix veterans, they mix youth players, and they take a Many Demiral, they take a Romero from Juve for 18 million, and then sell them for 45, 50 million. So it's like you need an Atalanta sporting director at Juventus, where we want to use next gen as part of a feeder for the team, and then like for example, say that we take in all 12 players of the next gen starting 11. They all graduate and go to the first team. 6 of them at best will be kept for Juve, and the other 6 are going to get sold regardless. So if you're able to sell them instead of for 10, 15 million, if you're able to sell those guys for 20, 25, Juve is going to be balling if that's the case. So for me, sporting director, it's got to be someone that knows how to flip youth players, that can take those youth players, give them some value, and then flip them. You could do it the Chelsea way, where you loan 100 players out and then you sell them if they play good. That's kind of what Real Madrid's starting to do a little bit, but it's got to, for me, I saw the rumors about Zidane. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but like, guys, coaches aren't going to fix the situation that we have right now. It's not. Zidane, Pep Guardiola, Marcelo Lippi, Arachigo Sacchi, Capello, like none of those guys
throwing every name out there.
I know
all of them.
Pirlo, no, but nobody out there is going to fix this. Like there is not a manager in the world that can fix this squad right now. And this isn't me saying, small club mentality. Juventus are a small club. It's not that at all. No, it's not it. The thing is Juve need to figure out who they want as a sporting director. So the new board of directors, the president, and those guys, they need to figure out, okay, what is the vision for this club? Do we want youth integration? Do we want to buy old veterans? How do we want to do this? Then, when they figure that out, step uno is that. Then step two, buy the sporting director that best suits that vision. You bring in that sporting director, and then the sporting director decides who the next coach is. Not Elkin, not Agnelli, not Nedved, not Farione, not those guys. Those guys shouldn't be deciding the next manager. The sporting director should be the one that a successful, because Florentino Perez is essentially the sporting director for Real Madrid. He picks. So you have to have these guys pick. And again, sometimes you have idiots for sporting directors. Look at PSG. That guy's an absolute dumbass because he is an absolute joke. But say, for example, we have a Guntoli. Guntoli from Napoli becomes our sporting director, or the guy from Atalanta becomes our sporting director. You leave it on the sporting director to pick the coach. And then the coach and the sporting director work together on selecting the roster. Who's got to go, who's going to come in. That's what makes a successful organization. So, because say that we take Guntoli and then we get, I don't know, a coach. I'm just thinking of a coach. Guntoli and Zidane. Let's say we get those two. Before everyone starts foaming at the mouth. Relax. Another what if scenario. So if those two come in, and again, Zidane becomes Guntoli's guy, and say that Zidane doesn't get the club rolling, isn't working, then you can say, okay, great. Sporting director, coach, you guys are out. Because that's the one thing that irritates me is when you fire the coach, you don't replace you don't fire the sporting director because the sporting director brought this guy. Or if you fire the sporting director but you keep the coach, doesn't make sense. It's weird. Like right now, like with all due respect, I do respect what Allegri has done, but upper management is an absolute dumpster fire right now. There's no sporting director. Is Allegri the sporting director? Like
they're
what's
just
going on
here to sail the ship through the legal
Yeah.
nonsense, and then this summer things are going to change.
Exactly. So it's like it's difficult because even when Allegri came back, you had Cherubini and Arriva Bene who didn't really buy anything for Allegri. Like they just said, "Here's what you have. Try to manage this." Essentially, and then same thing. They brought in Dusan and they brought in Zakaria and then they brought in some player and they brought in Bremer and all these guys over the summer. Allegri had more say in this summer than he did the first year, which we kind of seen the team take a little bit points wise, take a step up. Performances, not the greatest. Again, because let's be honest, the whole club needs an overhaul. That whole starting 11 needs an overhaul. I would be absolutely bonkers if I told you, no, we're good. We're good. It's just Allegri sucks. The thing is like Juve right now are the definition of a perfect storm of garbage in a sense. And I don't mean that in a degrading term. I'm saying like you have literally everything that can and will go wrong went wrong on this one. Where again, some players aren't performing. Some players are at the end of their careers. Some players are young and apparently are too scared to kick the ball in the net. You have a swirl of things that all of the bad things that you wish didn't happen are all happening simultaneously right now. And then you add the legal troubles on the outside. So that's why more so, I'm not on the Allegri out train. I'm not on, this out or that out. I'll hold some players accountable because some players need to set their game up. But in general, everything right now isn't really the best way to analyze stuff because like there isn't stability within how the club is being run and how the club is doing operations right now. Because right now we're still looking over our shoulders. Are we going to lose more points? Are we going to lose points? Is there going to be a financial penalty? Are we going to be banned out of Europe? Are we going to do this? There's way too much uncertainty that's going on right now. We don't even know where we're going to be at the end of the year. Like it is. It's the honest to God truth. And for me, I think it's a little bit harsh if we're really going in at Allegri over this. And I'm sure it's harsh to go in on the players too. Like, I'm sure it's pretty harsh to go on Dusan because I'm pretty sure it's getting on to Dusan's head per se with all the stuff that's going on. That poor kid deleted his social media because everyone was bashing the poor dude and also the news and all that other stuff. So it's like we gotta relax. I think once we see the sporting director and we see whether or not Allegri resigns or not, because to fire Allegri, it's $20 million euros to fire him at the end of the season. So we'll see if Allegri says I'm burnt out, let me resign. Then I say, first things first, I think the first order of business, hire a sporting director. Stop looking at coaches. I'm telling everybody this. Stop looking at coaches. We need to figure out who the sporting director is. Then we can start figuring, okay, this coach works for this guy. Okay, this coach works for that guy. Because I'm not a big fan of looking and getting on the Zidane Express because L'Equipe
And-
says Zidane.
And works for this team as well, because
Yes.
I forgot who was mentioning it in the news this week, but also brought up De Zerbi and how he lets in too many goals. KB, he's coming in. Here he is. Welcome.
Hey guys, what's up?
What's up? Is this your first time on?
I know.
Yeah, it's my first
it's
time.
been a
Oh
while.
man.
It's been a while.
Welcome.
Don't worry. We'll be gentle.
That's what she said.
Oh man. Love it.
Michael Scott,
Oh, we got the button for that. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
get
I
on
got
that.
you.
Yeah. How's the audio on your end? Is it?
It's good.
No, it's good. That's good.
All right, good.
It sounds
been a
like when you do one of
learning-
your streams. You said your stream wasn't good today?
That's what she said.
Well, not really. I
No?
was babysitting at the same time when I was.
Oh, that's bad news.
Yeah. So yeah, and I just wanted to maybe address a couple of points that you were making, Dash, regarding the the way that Juventus sells players, and I think I remember very well. I don't remember who said it, but there was this individual in Serie A who said, for Juventus, the price of a player is so and so, but if it's for another club, it's obviously lower. And I don't remember who said that.
Yeah, Sassuolo. Carnevale and
so-
Sassuolo.
Yeah.
So I don't think we have that leverage to really sell players in a way that we can make a profit out of them, because everybody knows that Juve will pay a premium. So at least for me, that's always going to be an issue because of the name Juventus. So I don't know. What do you think? And what do you think on that?
So I think so. This is going to be something that'll happen down the road per se, because, like, for example, if Juve develop a youngster pipeline where you see us stop buying players from other teams, whether it be youngster players from other teams, then you kind of see the market shift a little bit. It's not going to happen instantly. And Bones wants to say KB woo woo, but the thing is like, it's not. I'm not expecting that to happen off rip, or that something like that happens. But it's kind of one of those things where you look at it from 3 or 4 years down the road, because we need these youngsters per se to kind of boost the squad. And I don't think that Next Gen is producing enough youngsters yet for us to be like that, where we're able to sell players. So I totally get that sense. But think of it this way: if Juventus were to stop buying young players or promising players from Sassuolo and go from their internal farm system, then you start seeing that shift in the market. It has to happen first, because I 100% agree with you. Like right now, it's like that. But again, it's something later down the road.
True. Yeah, and I don't know. It's really difficult to buy players. I don't know, but you guys heard the news of Juventus trying to go after that sporting director from Napoli.
Yep.
And
yeah,
I don't know. I think maybe we need to go for someone like the Lazio sporting director, or maybe the Atalanta sporting director, because I really doubt that any Napoli related staff is gonna join the Juventus.
And he still has a year on his contract, so you would have to buy him out.
So interesting history bit on this is so we had the last time we were poaching a sporting director from Napoli, his name was Luciano Moggi. So the last time we poached a sporting director from Napoli, it ended up working quite well until 2006. But so yeah, the last sporting director, Moggi, was actually Napoli's sporting director before he came over to Juventus. So it's possible, because he was there during the Maradona time slot. So it's something that's definitely possible. But again, Tari from Lazio is a good option. The Atalanta sporting director is a great option. I like the Atalanta one at best, because he can find diamonds in the rough per se. Because again, he essentially took Christian Romero off our hands for 20 million and pawned him off for 40 million to Tottenham. Like it's one of those things where it's like he can do that. Like, for example, he brought in Scalvini, that defender, for very, very cheap, and now everyone wants this guy for 60 plus, that center back that they have. So it's like same thing with Lookman and the other striker that they're running. It's like Højlund, Dave. I think it's Højlund,
yeah,
like that. Højlund.
Yeah.
So like, I think Atalanta's director is probably the best sporting director in Serie A. And then Sassuolo's sporting director is next. The only reason why I say I don't rate Sassuolo's sporting director quite high is because Sassuolo to me is a selling club. They bring in young players for cheap and they flip them for profit, except Domenico Berardi, because he's just the guy that can't move on. He's like the post high school graduate that still stays in his high school. Because like Sassuolo as a club is like high school. It's a transitional squad. You go in there, you do your thing, become famous, go somewhere else. You look at all their great players, that's literally all they've done. Like, for example, Scamacca went to West Ham. Their winger, Jeremy Boga, went over to Atalanta. Multiple players through that entire squad. Locatelli came to us. Fratese, he's on the way out as well. Again, Berardi, because Berardi is just, again, the super duper senior that's just going to stay there. A lot of their players have come in and gone through, where it's like Atalanta, the reason why I give them more credit than any other team in Serie A when it comes to their sporting director is they consistently competed ever since that they've started this project. Not saying for the Scudetto, but for the top four. They need some superstars to really compete for the Scudetto. They had 2 seasons where it kind of looked like they were getting there, but they didn't. But like the thing about Atalanta is this season and the previous season, they're transitioning off of Zapata and Muriel and I forgot the Slovenian player that they had, Ilic. So they're transitioning from that front three, and as well as Alejandro Gomez. So like this season and last season, they're kind of swapping out and they're kind of retooling. That's why the last 2 seasons they weren't the greatest. And I still think that there's still more time for this season for them to make a push. But I still think coming into the future, I think Atalanta is going to be a really dangerous squad consistently. I think they've figured out the code because of their sporting director of how to bring in players and how to essentially fit what Gasparini and the sporting director want to do. Because again, they chose Gasparini over Alejandro Gomez, and I think it's paid dividends for him because he went to Sevilla and no one ever saw what happened to Gomez since. So again, it's tough, especially because, like, for example, put yourself in Atalanta's position where Alejandro Gomez is like your main guy for like a decade, and he finally takes you to the Champions League, and then he gets into a rift with your coach, and again, it's either your player or your coach, and the sporting director is like, "Sorry, man, you're out." So like, he's got stones. That's one thing. He kind of has the stones that we liked in Arriva Bene, where Paratici didn't have those stones. So for me, I think he's probably the best candidate to come in for Juve. Yeah. Whether or not he wants to, that's a different bet. And Mr. Elkin or Daddy Elkin, open up that pocketbook and bring that guy here.
Well, there is money to be spent from behind the scenes if need be. That's for sure. There was that mention too with Elkins because David here is saying he's trigger happy with F1. They just team principles is what they call it. In F1, and they just swapped up team principles this year. The last guy didn't get a very solid shake at the can, so I don't know. Maybe up at that level of management, Elkan will just be like, "You're fired. You're fired."
I wonder if Elkin, because I don't know. It doesn't seem to me like he would actually. I think he's more so let Juve do what Juve does, and then if I need to do some emergency stuff, he'll do it. So I don't.
Yeah, I do feel that he does. He's always at the F1 stuff. You see him a lot more involved at the races than you will at the football matches.
Yeah, I think he's there more so where it's like and this is me like knocking on him. I don't think he's much of a football fan more than he is an F1 fan.
I can see that.
Yeah. So with that in mind, on what you just said, Dash, I think personally, I don't think that Juventus is at the point where they can actually afford to adopt the same model as Atalanta for the fact that we need to compete in Europe, and not just that, but also are we going to become a feeder club in the long run if we don't do something about the Super League and the monopoly that EPL has currently? We're just going to become the next Ajax, at least in my opinion.
I got you. No, I totally understand what you're doing or what you're saying here. So the thing is like, for us to compete, it's going to take, again, you need a philosophy, and then you need the players and the coach that sit with that philosophy. Do I think Juventus is going to be a feeder club? No, I don't think so. Absolutely not. I mean, Ajax has been known to be a feeder club for decades. It's just kind of what they do. It's just their business model. With us, I don't think we would go that route. Again, we're not Juve isn't going to be 100% Atalanta if we got their sporting director. It's not going to follow that business model 100%. There's going to be, again, more of a drive, more an incentive. The thing is this guy, this director will have Juventus resources versus Atalanta resources. And one of the things why I like Iglitari from Lazio as well is they're able to make things work with less money that they have. And now that they have a little bit more of resources, they can do more stuff. So like, for example, for me, the fact that you're making Atalanta compete for top 4 with the limited resources that they have right now, you can only imagine what he's able to do with more resources, more buying power, more pulling power. Because like, for example, if he's at Juventus and versus Atalanta, and you're looking for the next best thing, the next best thing is going to be more inclined to go to Juve. And essentially, they're not going to charge you up the wazoo. Like, for example, with negotiations, say that I'm a 9 out of 10 striker and I have an offer from Atalanta and I have an offer from Juventus. I'm willing to take less to go to Juve than take more to go to Atalanta because, like, for example, that's some of the stuff that good directors can do. Like, for example, you can get bigger players on a lower wage bill. So like, for example, say that the going rate salary wise for a striker is 12 million a season. And then, like, for example, that's the average. Atalanta, to pull that player in, has to spend 14 because of not really that notable, not a big name, etc. Whereas Juventus, they have more leverage because they could say, we'll give you, instead of 12, we'll give you 10 or we'll give you 9. Because if you say no, we'll just replace you. We'll just go to someone else. So that's why for me, it's like, for example, Iglitare, for me, I got to give him credit because how much Lazio nickels and dimes players, the fact that he's able to field a competitive team with Sarri blows my mind. Though they don't have depth, and Sarri's not a coach that knows how to manage squad stuff, but you have an Immobile that's on a bum leg. You have, again, a back line that's just Romagnoli and just some other guys that they threw there. So, like, I give Tare credit per se. Same thing with Guntoli, because, like, for example, Guntoli literally rebuilt that squad that lost all of their veteran players, Koulibaly, Insigne, Dres Mertens, Callejon, Koulibaly. Like, they lost all of those guys, and he was able to retool with, again, Walmart versions of those players that ended up being better than the actual version. So it's like, I have more things for those. And again, it's the pulling power too. So like, if those guys are able to do that and pull that in, they have more resources. They're going to compete. Like, for example, sporting directors at Atalanta and them are going to be like, no, we're not going to compete because, again, you have Juventus, the Milans, and that. But if he's at Juve, there's more of a pathway to compete because you're at the top.
What do you guys think of this here from Yusuf?
So he says, don't you think if we get Zizou that he himself will kind of have a pull allowing us to go for more versatile sporting director? I don't, but then is he your manager or is he your sporting director? Because, like, for example, the sporting director, in my opinion, is higher than the coach. It should be on the totem pole. In the club organization totem pole, the sporting director is higher. They're more important than the managers, essentially, because they pick the manager. So, like, for example, Zidane will have some pull on players, per se. So, like, for example, hey, certain French players come play for Juventus because, again, coaches have that. But, like, for example, I don't think a sporting director is going to sit there and be like, oh, I want to go to Juventus because Zidane is there. I don't believe it works that way. It normally doesn't work that way. If Zidane was a sporting director and you had a bunch of coaches that would be like, okay, Zidane has done this, he's accomplished this, and his football style, his philosophy is the same as mine, I want to go to him. It doesn't work the other way around. So, like, for example, and then I think he's saying this would be assuming that the higher ups would give Zidane more say in the transfer.
But Allegri has more say right now because
no
of the
one there.
situation.
Yeah.
He didn't always have that much leeway. Not to say he didn't have any say, because I think he would have had a little bit, but Paratici, of course, like we just said, would just buy what he wanted anyways.
Yeah. So, like, the thing is like, so, like, for example, let's use Arriva Bene and Cherubini here. So, like, for example, Allegri's like, I want Axel Witsel. And then Cherubini and them are like, no, you get McKennie. That's the best we can do. So that's kind of how it works. So, like, for example, Zidane can say, hey, I have player pull for Chouameni and Camavinga. And then you guys like, yeah, but we don't have the money for it. We can't afford these guys. Their salaries are too high. So, like, Zidane can have some pulling power to attract players, but at the end of the day, it's the sporting director that says, this makes financial sense. This doesn't make financial sense. Because, like, for example, if you have if you have a sporting director and Zidane on the same page, bringing in players becomes a lot easier. But again, you don't want Zidane to then dictate what sporting director comes into the club, because then essentially you've neutered your sporting director. Because if what's the point of having a sporting director if Zidane's the one that's doing all the polls per se? Like for example, you have Guntoli. Say that Guntoli wants to do an attacking high press play style. You look at the rosters of coaches. Say that Jurgen Klopp's available. Then you say Guntoli says to Klopp, "Hey, I have an opening at Juventus. This is the play style that I want. I will get you players that play this play style." And then Klopp says, "Okay, sweet, I'm down." So, like for example, with Zidane, you need for his style is a counterattacking. A lot of people don't understand this, but Zinedine Zidane is a very Italian-minded coach. He was trained by Ancelotti for a very long time. If you look at Real Madrid between Ancelotti and Zidane, they almost play the same style. Sit back, very dangerous on the counterattack. So, like for example, so for Zidane, you need a sporting director that understands that's the way that Zidane wants to play or how he plays. And then if the club and the sporting director want to get Zidane, they want to go that route, you need a sporting director that wants to do that route. At the end of the day, Juventus as a club itself dictates what they want to do. So, like for example, if I'm Ferrero, the new president of Juventus, and I want to do counterattacking football, I look at my short list and I look at coaches that have teams that played that style, because he has a staff that advises him on stuff when they're looking at the sporting director. So they're looking at it and they'll say, "Hey, I'm going to take this counterattacking sporting director." And then the the director and the Juventus board sit down and talk, and they say, "We brought you in. This is kind of your repertoire. This is what we've seen that you are. Us as Juventus, we would recommend that we would look at Zidane as coach. Do you agree with this?" And then the director says, "Yes, he fits my style of play. I want to do this." If not, usually the club wouldn't hire that sporting director. Or if not, say that he'll say, "I think Zidane is good, but I'd rather go with Igor Tudor," or something like that. But to me, a successful club, their sporting director dictates and they decide what they want to do. Like, for example, if you looked at All or Nothing with Manchester City, the Manchester City version of All or Nothing, Man City and Guardiola's sporting director are like this. They are tight.
Yep.
The discussions that they have, the players that they're looking for, the sporting director is like, "Hey, this was back in like 16, 17. They're like, "We want to go for Alexis Sanchez. What do you think?" And Guardiola is like, "Yes, this is who I want. I want this guy." And then Man United beat them to the punch. But like, hey, Guardiola says to these guys, "Hey, I have an issue with our center back. We need to get another center back." And this is when they bought John Stones at the time. And then they're like, "Okay, great. Here's our short list. Who do you think fits the best profile that what you need for right now?" So it's a tandem. It's a 1 and 2 tandem. Again, this is 27. I believe it's the 2017 Manchester City, guys. If you have time, watch it. It is probably the best in like how a club is run behind the scenes, because like we troll Manchester City for oil money and all that other baloney, but their sporting director and Pep are probably one of the best tandem sporting directors I have ever seen in world football right now, because of the communication that they have with each other, the players, how they essentially shortlist players, how they decide who to bring in, who not to bring in. It is incredible with how they work together.
All right, Dash, take a breath. Jesus Christ.
I need water.
That's good. I think, yeah. I think the only upside about having Sisu and as a coach will be just the appeal of players wanting to play under him and be coached by him. But I think besides that, otherwise if you give them too much power, you're going to have that Jerry Jones kind of scenario, like
pretty
the
much
Cowboys have here in the U.S. So
Yeah.
I don't think that's always a good idea.
It's true. That's probably why we went for Allegri. Then the management probably hoped he would be able to work with whatever signing we would give him. And he has.
He has. And Zidane is, and the thing is like the one thing that you guys got to understand too, Zidane and Allegri are almost the same. Like, again, they were thrown in same situations. Here's this, make it work. Because Zidane essentially came in for Rafa Benitez. He got called up from the Primavera and got thrown into the Madrid team. They're like, "Hey, this is what you have, make it work." He did. Again, you can argue, hey, the dude had, because he is an Allegri. He's a man manager. He's a motivator and a man manager. Zidane's not a technical genius. He's on the field. He was a genius, understood the game very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
But He didn't invent a style like Jurgen Klopp essentially reinvigorated the Gegenpressing style. Didn't do what Pep Guardiola did when he essentially tweaked and essentially created a new version of tiki-taka. Didn't do any of that. He's not, a philosophy of the game. Like, for example, as much as I hate Antonio Conte, but Antonio Conte brought back the three-man defense. He did. He revolutionized the three-man defense with a target man
Yeah.
striker.
Yeah.
He did. It's the honest to God truth. Allegri, Zidane, Tuchel, those guys are good managers. They're good situational managers. They see what you have and they squeeze the best out of what you have. You're not really going to see too much of improvement. Like, for example, Allegri improving some of these youngsters this season is off script. It's not normal. Because, like, for example, you look at Zidane, it's the same thing. Isco wasn't, really developed to anything crazy. Marco Asensio wasn't developed into anything crazy as well. I mean, Lucas Vasquez as well. He threw Lucas Vasquez from a right winger to a left back or a right back when Carvajal was injured. So it's like Zidane didn't really create anything with those young, promising players that Real Madrid had. He brought them in, squeezed out what he could from them, and that was it. So, like, ironically, why when I see Juventini like lose their mind for Zidane and think he's the answer to all our problems, it's like, tell me that you haven't seen Zidane without telling me that you haven't seen Zidane, because he's the front. This is kind of disrespectful to Zidane, but him and Allegri, it's like Allegri's the Italian Zidane or vice versa because they play the same style. One had better players, the other one didn't. Because, like, if you look at Allegri at the peak of his powers and you look at Zidane at the peak of his powers, pretty similar in how they played.
Definitely. I think they'll have a meltdown if they find out. Once they find out that it's the same exact play style.
Yeah. Because the thing is those same fans that want Zidane within the first 3 or 4 weeks, if we're not playing attractive, winning football, they want him fired.
Yeah,
I mean, you can thank a certain channel for promoting fake news.
I know.
I saw it today on the thumbnail and said the Sisu wants Juventus, and I'm like, no.
They irritate me because they took the Zidane article and just like spammed it saying all in for Zidane. It's like, no, that's not what happened. And then Youssef said, say that we get a sporting director like Guntoli. What coach would go well with a sporting director like him? So
spelling's right, by the way. So
yeah, it is right. So the thing is, say that we get Guntoli. So if we look at Guntoli's current project at Napoli, so Napoli like to play a high press kind of dynamic counterattacking. So it's kind of like, for example, for me, like a Ten Hag, like a high press, but a press with a press counterattacking team. Because that's really what Napoli do very, very well. So Napoli, the roster that they have, they press you very high, and then they're able to ping you really fast on the counterattack. So, like, for example, there's a high block counter, and then there's a low block counter. So, like, for example, Zidane, Allegri, Carlo Ancelotti, they employ the low block counter, where you absorb pressure, you take the pressure, and then you have two good ball distribution midfielders and a target man that facilitates the ball. So, like, for example, Real Madrid, Benzema is your 9, that's your target man. Modric and Kroos are your ball facilitators. So, like, you soak up pressure, you go between those two. Whereas Napoli, where Napoli is a lot different, is Osimhen, Crava, and then, for example, Politano or whoever plays on the right, they press up, and then what happens is your Lobotka, your Zielinski, the other guy, I don't know his name. I don't want to butcher his name, but the other Napoli midfielder that got suspended, I think it was like 99. What those three do is they intercept the ball in the middle of the pitch, and then they ping Osimhen, and then Osimhen to Kvaratskhelia, and then Kvaratskhelia takes a shot or passes it back to Osimhen. So they do, and essentially that's what Ten Hag does as well at Manchester United. Ten Hag does a very high press, high line, high press. Where if you force Manchester United to play out of the back, you get a bunch of meme goals that I've posted on Discord with Harry Maguire passing it to the other team and assisting. So with Guntoli, you look at a coaching profile that's someone said these guys are saying Anguissina is the Napoli player.
Yeah.
Anguissa. I love you guys are awesome. You guys are awesome in the chat. I love you guys. Save me a Google search. So
I have some breaking news.
Go for it.
There is just a collaboration.
Wait.
Do it.
I gotta do the thing. We can't do it without doing the thing.
I just thought it was funny because I was scrolling through, looking at some stuff. You know how you and Juve News Live, Rav there, you guys just did a video, right?
Yep.
was about Dybala. There has just been a collaboration between a couple of those other channels about the exact same thing.
Dybala?
Yes.
That's funny.
That is kind of funny.
That's hilarious. Oh, that's funny.
Oh,
way to copy us, other guys.
Oh,
way to be
man.
original. Way to be original with your content creation. It's not like you guys haven't copied us for the 100th time this season.
Hey, they
Jeez.
say whatever. They're just jelly. It's all good.
That's funny.
Yeah.
What do they call that? When you copy someone else's work, the word just
The flattery.
yeah.
It is
Plagiarizing,
imitation.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
plagiarizing. Yeah. But it's they also
Yeah.
say imitation is the best form of flattery. Some shit like that.
That's
too.
true. Yeah.
So I mean,
that's a
that's
shame.
just whatever. It's what do you do? Just shake your head. I was bored of listening to Dash anyways. I thought this was way funnier.
We're gonna have to
You
start
said
research.
I saw it. I saw the thing.
Just looking it up now.
I'm
Oh,
looking at
man.
that too. That's funny.
Okay, we've been doing this for 2 hours. Oh, see your dog's ready for you. KB, I don't want to kick you off, but I do want to shut down the stream here in a few minutes. Do you have any last points? I know it's your first time. Dash just like took all your airtime away here.
No, it's good. It's always good to support you guys and
We appreciate it.
Seeing the growth of your channel. I think it's really encouraging for those Juventus content creators that are starting out. But it takes a lot of work. You guys are doing a great job, and
We appreciate it.
as
Thank
always.
you.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for the support as well. You've been there since the beginning.
No, KB has been an OG, guys. So
Yeah.
KB has been with us since we only had 2 people watching, and KB was one of those people.
And you got to go and get that shirt off the store and let us know it's you, so we give you your money back because you double predicted. You earned it.
Yeah, you always. I'll be the one calling you guys the boomers, so I'll be always throwing out my comments.
Yeah, you're a boomer too. As you're there in your bedroom because your kid's downstairs and your wife won't let you do anything for a streaming room because you have no space to yourself, and you're holding your dog like a little baby. You are the epitome of a boomer.
This guy, this is the one that is always in the streams.
Yeah, what's his name?
Yeah. This is Penny, and she's
Penny.
annoying. She's really,
I'll go on. She's cute.
But thank you guys, and I'll let you guys close the show. You guys been going for 2 hours, so
that was good. Do you want to do the outro?
You want to do the outro?
He's
like, no, I'm good.
No, I'm good.
Oh man. Well, in that case, I'm gonna play the outro music anyways. You might as well just stick around for it.
Bone says I was second.
Yeah, Bones has been there since the beginning.
No, a few of you guys have for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you guys.
All right. Well, thank you, KB. Dash, take it away, man.
All right. Alrighty, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Napoli pregame show featuring the second half with a bunch of call-ins and some fun topics. So had a really good time talking with you guys. I think I'm going to probably lose my voice if I don't get any water anytime soon because I've been talking for like the last hour or so because I just like hearing the sound of my voice. Big shout outs to David at the wedding while watching us. You are a mad lad for that one. Big shout out to Yusuf also for having a great discussion on the sporting director as well. We love you, Yusuf. Thanks for stopping by and checking in. Bones, it's always a pleasure. Matt, as well as the new guy. And then Michael, L1, as well as the new folk in the chat. So, guys, we'll catch you tomorrow on Twitch because we'll be covering the Napoli Juve game on their Twitch channel. And then more Twitch on Monday. And then we'll do a double take on Zidane throughout the week next week. So, Dave, say your goodbyes, buddy.
Goodbye, everyone. I'll miss you all. See you tomorrow. Twitch it up, guys. Don't forget. Love you all.